Sitting here enjoying papaya with apple. This is really good. And some cucumbers. Cucumbers will keep you hydrated as well as all the melons. So make sure you get your cucumbers and your melons to keep you hydrated. So I wanted to say in this self-development space, because I just been sparked by something, and I want to say that sometimes there's stories, situations, news that can try to get you down, that can try to make you feel bad about certain things that you've been through or certain things that others been through. And that's okay to feel those feelings, right? But it's not okay to stay down. You know, you could think, well, I wish I had this in childhood. Even if somebody said, well, I wish my mother and father would have stayed together. I wish that, I would have had more money because I was poor as a child. And but on the other side, there's a child that had all the money, but they wish that their mother and father was there more. But there's somebody that had their mother and father there all the time, and they wish, that they could just go out and do something more. They wish they had more space to be more independent and make better choices, make their own choices. So I want you to know that anything that you can complain about in your life, there's somebody that actually got that, what you wanted, and they're complaining about something else. Okay? So though it's okay to feel those feelings, it's not okay to stay down. You have to realize everything in your life was meant to be how it's been. You cannot change the past. The past is the past. But what you can do is not let the past hold you down, or not let the past distract you from the blessing that's in the present moment, or not let the past hold you in the past, because you can relive out your past. You can be living right now in the present in your past. Okay, based on your thoughts, based on the thoughts that you want to give power to. Don't let your past or situations that you've been through or what you wish you would have had stop you from getting that in the future. Okay? And if it goes down to, I want a mother and father that was like this. You can literally have that right now. And I know it sounds crazy or whatever, but the Most High has the motherly and fatherly energy that you always wanted. And if you can focus on these type of frequencies, these type of thoughts, and this type of imagination, what some will call imagination, if you can focus on these thoughts, you can actually attract that in the physical. Other than that, you can feel that in the spiritual. And this is why it's very important to understand energy. Okay? Wishing you would have had something that you didn't have is a certain vibration of energy. But if you want to raise that vibration, you can give yourself that through your imagination. You can actually feel that. When you go to sleep and you sleep dream, you can actually still feel feelings. You can still feel sensations, all right, in the body that you have in your dream. So I want you to understand that our imagination and our thoughts, you can actually go, if you think right now, just think right now, close your eyes, you're in Alaska, or you're in somewhere that's so cold, everywhere around you, ice. Really imagine it. You'll start to feel cold. You see these goosebumps? You will start to feel that. You can imagine. Your mind is so powerful, all right? And if you focus on it in a certain way, often you'll manifest yourself into a cold environment. So I want you to know how powerful the mind is. Do not let things hold you back. Do not let sadness hold you down for too long. Now, sadness is a natural emotion, right? You can feel it. But the way we are engaging in these emotions, the way we interpret these emotions and define these emotions is it reflects on how we utilize them. The way we engage with these emotions is either of healthy or unhealthy vibration. All right. So certain emotions, though they're natural, and it's sometimes illogical to say, I wish we don't need to have these emotions, which to a degree, once you go deeper, you can literally reprogram your mind not to feel certain things. There's certain things that's happening to us right now, but we don't feel them because we haven't identified with those. We haven't defined those, okay? There's more than 5 senses, but we have to define them. We have to identify them, observe them, There's things that's happening all around us. Like, you can walk down the street. Somebody could point something out that you walk down the street every day, but you're not looking at this certain thing. Then somebody could point it out and be like, every day I did not see that. because you wasn't identified with that. It's not something you focus on. I remember when I was introduced to grounding and introduced to the power of nature and hugging a tree and just touching a tree. I was like, damn, all these trees around me, all this beauty around me. I remember I used to go down the street and I would be so, like, our attention, wherever our focus goes, energy flows. My intention was on marketing because I'm in a marketing business. And I was just like, look at that. I would always notice the marketing signs. Like, if somebody, has this, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, I wish I had a sign right there. I would always notice that. But now as I come into my focus being more in a spiritual way, in a natural way, I notice the trees. Like, I notice the trees versus somebody else that their mind is focused on other things. They might not notice the trees like I do. So I say that to say the trees was always there. That I noticed them because that's where my focus is. That's where my vibration is. All right. So I say that to say you can literally focus on something. If you feel down and unhappy and you don't want to be there, you can literally focus and tell yourself you're happy and you will vibrate to being happy. All right. And it's not a fakeness about it. It's real. You can really pull yourself out of any vibration. And I want to say this and I hope it motivates you, because if you're in a certain space, I want you to know that you can get yourself out of that space through the thoughts that you have, through what you focus on, through your imagination. And imagination, I know it sounds weird, but that actually helps. That's a part of our manifesting. That's a part of manifesting what you want in your life. You have to first imagine it. You have to first see it. And once you see it, then you'll be able to get it, okay? And that's with most things, damn near anything in your life. If I see these damn cucumbers and papaya and apples chopped up in that bowl, I had to see it first before I actually received it. So I want you to see things, like, even if it's a quick see, even if it's a subconscious see, these are all thoughts. See, thoughts aren't always conscious. We think, oh, everything comes from a thought. No, it don't, because I don't think about breathing. I still got the tag on. I don't think about breathing, and I watch this too. The tag is all crunched up and shit. So I don't think about this. I don't think about that. Well, we have to understand, and maybe I can make up a different definition because I am into building my own language, or at least an extension of the English language, because this is what I know in order to understand, because it's not, I don't know if it's the language, but it's how we define the language that's kind of like weird. So when you think about thoughts, you're thinking of conscious thoughts, but plants think. Animals think, but it's through their intuition, or it's not a conscious thought. So, something that happened, you can be like, oh, that was my instinct. That's a thought. Even though you wasn't able to process it. See, when we're thinking about a thought, we're thinking, oh, do you process it, analyze it, observe it? No, those are ways to consciously think. But there is something called a subconscious thought, or an unconscious thought. Unconscious thoughts. These things happen without us having to analyze it or observe it. So I want you to understand that thought goes beyond what we think, okay? Thought goes beyond what we think. Just like our mind goes beyond our brain, okay? Our brain is a limited tool to help us with our mind, but the mind is beyond. The mind is limitless, okay? Our brain is limited. Our body is limited, but our mind is limitless. Okay, our spirit, our soul is limitless. So, anyways, I just had a lot of things on my mind at this time, and I just wanted to say that, and I hope it just inspires you. Like, look, you see something, because in my journey, there's a lot of people, places, or people and things that, want me to be like, oh, you should feel sad about what you've been through in life, and that's just not how my mind works in this lifetime right now, okay? I don't want to feel sad. Some people actually want to, whether they consciously realize it or not, they actually want to feel sad. And I get it, because I was in that position before too. I struggled with depression all my life. I got into a space, the last time I was depressed, I got into a space like, look, I kind of like this. But then I'm such a humanitarian. I'm like, look, I couldn't preach this to people. I couldn't tell people it's okay to be depressed, because that's a deep space. And if your mind isn't prepared for it, you can kill yourself in that space. So, I felt it. I enjoyed it a little bit. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to hold you. I enjoyed to be depressed a little bit, but I know that's not the solution. So I'm not going to embody that, because I want to be the change. I have to be the change that I want to see. I'm not going to preach something that I feel like doesn't need to. I'm not going to be something or do something that I feel like other people shouldn't do. All right. So hope this made you think. I know it's a couple different topics, but don't let your other surroundings, people, places, and things get you down and hold you down. You hold the power. You always hold the power. Peace.